You know, that's where we from. We like shit. God damn you. God damn it. We could have got some funky vibes. Not that shit and everything.
You know,
I'm going to nominate you,
Johnny. I just recorded that. I'm leaving it in. This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global via Zoom. I'm joined by Johnny Nelson. How are you holding up, Johnny?
I'm holding up well. You know, I need to find a hairdresser because I'm struggling here. It's starting to come through. So,
oh, yeah?
So, I'm good. I'm all right. What's that? You got a little quiff going on there. What's going on?
Yeah, it's all messed up. I don't know.
No, other side. What's that bump there? That's it. What is that? Yeah. Nice.
I need a barber visit. Yeah. Johnny, obviously the major talking point in boxing at the moment is with Jarrell Miller. Reportedly failed another drugs test. Just let me get your initial reaction to this, Johnny.
Oh, no. You know, you just... Again, so I'll tell you what he reminded me of. He reminded me of Ben Johnson. When he's failed and he thought he'd come out and done it again, you think, come on. I think with Jarrell Miller, it's just, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is the third time, if he has failed, he's failed. And so once you can make a mistake, twice, questionable, but 3 times. And the reason why I probably have no sympathy for that is because I boxed a drug cheat. I think this guy had actually failed 4 times in his career. The problem was the governing bodies didn't do enough to make the risk too high. I think got a little measly ban. In fact, I bought 2 drug cheats, and so the nicest thing is actually beating a drug cheat. And people have got to remember, if you're cheating at sport to enhance your performance, it doesn't make you technically more astute. It doesn't make you any better a fighter. In our sport, it might make you hold a shot better. It might make you give you a lot more energy. But technically, it doesn't make you any better. So if you've got somebody in the ring that's fit, that can box, drugs ain't going to do you any favours. I think for Jarrell, I thought, what? You know, and the thing is, he's radio silence at the moment. I don't know if he's been advised to do that or what. But if this is the case, and I just don't, I'm struggling to justify or give him a defending argument. And I think for our sport, he's killing our sport. I'm telling you, he's killing the sport, man. So again, mistakes can be made, but 3 times, and that's where I struggle.
I know you said it doesn't help with skills, and you're correct on that part. But people will argue that, you know, in terms of all the heavyweights, Jarrell is right at the top with the amount of punches he throws per round, and obviously he's a big guy. And people don't know whether he's been doing this throughout his whole career. So on that front, he's gaining a massive advantage, surely, with the amount of punches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Energy output, it's there. But again, remember, I boxed 2 drug cheats. Known drug cheats. I probably might box more than them. Their output was unbelievable. I drew with 1. Admittedly, maybe looking back on it, should have won that fight. Probably not. His work rate was higher than mine. The first one I was aware of, Marcus Spot. I beat him and stopped him out, and it was a hell for level fight. I understand that, and, you know, and so these guys are giving themselves an advantage to inflict as much harm and pain on you as possible. Are these guys thinking risk reward? If I can get away with this? So, but deep down in your soul and your gut, are you actually? What happens when you come up against it? When you're actually in there to fight somebody that can fight, and you're tested, and you've not got this to lean back on. Now, Jarrell was in a position to fight Anthony Joshua, and all of a sudden the chips were down, the pressure was on. So does he carry on? If he was cheating before that, does he carry on cheating and hope he gets away with it at the highest level? Or does he risk trying to lay back and depend on his true skill? He didn't believe in his skill. He didn't believe in what he had. So therefore, he needed enhancement. Again, if this is the case and he has failed the drug test, there's massive flaws in this guy's, you know, even if he didn't and he boxed on, that will always be hanging over him. That will always be the big talking point whenever he gets in the ring. Some guys will think, I can deal with the shame. The risk is obviously worth it, and that's what he's done. So be it. Let's get some more clarification on what's been said and done on the situation. I think Jarrell himself not coming out and saying anything publicly yet smells guilt, makes it smell as guilty as sin. But what if he knowingly took performance enhancing drugs and seriously hurt somebody? What if he knowingly took performance enhancing drugs and God forbid killed somebody? That's a criminal matter. So the consequences have got to be high when you've got a prolific offender, that's the dogs, doing this in our sport. This boxing, I put something up yesterday. Brendan has said, boxing at its worst is a dirty, rotten, prostituting, vindictive game. At its best, it can be the sweetest sport in the world. So you have the devil and the angel. And unfortunately, now and again, they find each other. Now and again, people are pointing things and say, aha, and the devil is the one he's making our sport look bad. Look bad. Look, he's making the history of our sport look bad. And to me, it's a sport where it's about honour. It's about self-belief, confidence, and if you're going to do that, you ain't got no honour. If you're going to do that, knowingly doing that, you ain't got no honour. And that's where I will struggle to respect anybody if they're knowingly doing something like this.
Johnny, this should never obviously happen, but when you're fighting someone like Anthony Joshua, you can understand perhaps where he was coming from, but he's fighting Jerry Forrest here. With all respect to him, Jarrell should have beaten him. Like, you wouldn't think, I've got to take this to beat Jerry. But Eddie Hearn come out yesterday and said that it's probably a psychological thing with Jarrell. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm trying to give you an example. I can think of a crude example, but we'll try and keep it straight. So therefore, if Jarrell Miller has gotten used to this, and this gives him that confidence, that self-belief to say, I can do this, and he needs that every time he gets in the ring. He can never, ever get in the ring and perform without it. It's like a fighter that when he gets in the ring and he jumps on the floor, when he gets hit on the chin, he jumps on the floor. He's not really hurt, he jumps on the floor to stop the guy from hitting him. Once a fighter does that once, it's a habit you will struggle to ever shake, because automatically your knees will, you'll get hit with a shot, your knees will buckle, you'll go down, and you'll be mad at yourself and say, damn, why did I do that? Because you let yourself do it. And so you'll always depend on it. For Jarrell to be doing this, we don't know how long he's been doing it through his career. But for him to be doing this, now he's got to the point where he thinks getting in the ring, no matter how much he shouted and sung and asked for forgiveness for his past discrepancies, he clearly can't perform without it. Clearly. Because you think even at this level. So it now makes you question all his other wins, like you say. And that now makes you question, how comes this guy so big has got such a work rate and such managed to climb himself to contender status? How's he managed to do that? You question everything. He's not going to get the true credit that he deserves.
Johnny, of course, he was given a second chance by Bob Arum and Top Rank. Now, we don't know what's going to happen with official bans. There was obviously a massive grey area over this in boxing. But do you think now promoters and managers are just not going to work with Jarrell?
Well, unfortunately, it's show business. And if it's good business, they're going to do it. They'll take the stick. That's our sport. And if they can get away with it, they'll do it. So never say never in that situation. This is down to the governing bodies to make a stance, down to the governing bodies to say point blank, nada, done, no. Unfortunately, in the past, we've seen the governing bodies have let themselves down, the integrity of our sport down, and let opponents down, because if somebody's beaten, he's taking gear. They're letting them down too. So to me, I'm putting it down to the governing bodies worldwide
But he didn't even get a ban the first time for the Joshua stuff, Johnny. He didn't get a ban. So
exactly. And so what did that tell us? Did that give us more respect for the governing body? What did it tell us? It just, if you're paying your sanctioning fees to a governing body, you've got to respect them and think these people are going to do everything possible to make sure you're safe in there. Make sure, and that's what they're there for. So therefore, they're not doing their job, and they lose credit in the eyes of fans, fighters, and the public.
One thing I will say is that we are talking about Jarrell, and of course, because it's gone public so many times. But I've spoken to a load of fighters, obviously you just mentioned it, who have won fights and they felt like they've boxed people on stuff. James DeGale used to say a lot of his opponents he boxed, and in the fights he won, he felt like something's wrong with this ring.
I agree. And the problem is this, when you're in the corner, when you're fighting, the amount of times I went back to Brent and said, Brent, he's on gear. And you're going to say, well, how do you know that, Johnny? I'll tell you why I know that. Because when I was in the gym, I trained to the best of the hardest. I ate right, slept right, prepped right, did everything right. So I knew my fitness was second to none. So when I'm getting in there with somebody, I'm hitting them, and it's just bouncing off, and their pace is still there. They're still in your face, they're still coming. You're thinking, I'm human. And if you're human, there should be a difference, something happening here. If I'm fighting somebody in my own weight category, and I'm hitting him how I can hit him because I know I can knock people out. I'm not saying he should fall. I'm not saying he should say ouch. He should blink. It should affect his energy. It should affect his output. But the problem is this, you can't say anything. Because after when I boxed Lamar Lodge Jones, I knew he was cheating. I knew. And I remember going back, I think it was the second or third round, I said, Brenny's on gear. I can tell. Brent said, get on with it. The fight was done. I said, Brenny's on gear. Before they call it a draw, Brenny's on gear. You can't say anything. You just got to keep your mouth shut. Because if you do say something, you're sued. If you do say something, you're in trouble. And sometimes you might get it wrong. But, fighters know. Whenever you've gotten with someone that's juiced up, And I've known on several occasions. Unfortunately, there's only two I can name because they're the only two that's been done.
Well, if fighters, don't receive bans when it goes public, like this Jarrell Miller case in the first one with Anthony Joshua, I assume they're going to carry on. And we, as you said, we have so many sanctioning bodies. If we had one entity that ran boxing, like the FA there is with with FIFA, that runs football, or the UFC, it's one owner. This problem would probably be solved, wouldn't it, Johnny? But because we got the BC, the WBA, etc.
Yeah, and the problem is individuals profit. And that's why our sport for many years, struggled to get corporate sponsorship, endorsement, because our sport has always had that cloud of shadiness about it. And so therefore, massive corporations just prefer to go and getting endorsed tennis, football, cricket, whatever. Boxing was always at the bottom of the pile because individuals benefit. So when you talk about having one team, one setup to govern it all, it's never going to happen because all the other individuals will gang together and say, I ain't playing that game. So therefore, who are they going to govern because nobody's paying attention to them? Look how many anti-doping commissions are out there now. Well, I don't respect that one, but I respect that one. I don't respect. You fail, you fail. But I just think, unfortunately, it's our sport, it's the nature of our sport, and this is one of those times where our sport is what Brendan said. It's the dirty, rotten, prostituting side of our sport, and it's just wrong.
Last one on this. Let me ask you about what Anthony Crolla said after this situation came out. So he said that if you've been convicted once and it's kind of a grey area, example Canelo with the clenbuterol levels, and you're not sure, then this doesn't apply. But something in this case where it's happened multiple times, it's clear that it's PEDs and there's high levels of them. He reckons Jarrell should face prison time for this. Is there an argument for that, Johnny?
You know what? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. If Jarrell had hurt somebody or, God forbid, killed somebody, That's with intent. You understand? And so all of a sudden, if you're getting in the ring, you're thinking, I take some gear and I get found out, I could possibly get prison time. I bet there'll be less people doing it. I'm not saying to wipe it out, but there are less people doing it because the consequences are far too high. But the consequences right now are not high enough. And I can remember talking to Larry Oliver Mewo, and he kind of said that he didn't regret it. And I'm like, really? You know, and to me, I just thought the consequences were just not high enough for people to think, you think, risk reward, I'm going to go for it. Most fighters don't do it because boxing is one of those sports that when you're in the ring against one man, it's a test of everything. Your corners, your character, your gut check, your principles. It's just a real leveler, boxing, and that's why boxing is so intriguing.
Moving on, I don't know if you saw Tyson's video yesterday, but I can't believe he's had to actually come out and address these glove rumours. Did you see it?
I've not seen it, but I heard the glove rumours at the time when he actually fought. And again, I actually saw a video yesterday with Deontay Wilder shooting a firearm. But then I mean, with his brother. Now, if it's recent, I'm thinking, I mean, he's just pot shot him, but if it's recent, I'm sure he had a bicep operation. And that's the reason why, but they're struggling. Part of the reason why they're struggling to get a date with him and Tyson to recover from this bicep operation. And I'm sure when you've got a gun and it's coiling back, it's going to affect that and all that. And this was only this morning I saw it. He and his brother were out on the shooting range. So again, you just think that there are all these conspiracy theories, stories, made up lies in our sport. For Tyson Fury, if people want to pick on that for why he beat Deontay Wilder, you know, if I was Tyson, I'd leave him ignorant. I won't say anything until the fight came again, because each time he's boxing, he's beating better. And if anybody knows anything about boxing, when you've got your hand taped in the glove, and you tell me if I can knock you out with a slap, that's some big ass heavy fingers, you know. So and some fighters do. They'll reach out, bam, close it at the end, bam, close it at the end. That's what they do. Or flick. You know, the referees will tell them stop flicking, flick, bam, take you out. They used to say Harold Graham used to slap, but he knocked a lot of people out with a slap, if it was a slap. Just because of the style of the punch when it lands and leaves and lands, doesn't look like your conventional up tight, let the shots go. Doesn't mean it's not a punch. It means you've got a different style. And for Tyson Fury to address it, he's just giving it legs. Say, yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, he left it for ages. I was surprised he addressed it, but people are still talking about it. I think he's just put it to bed now. Have you been catching up with or keeping up with the Tyson Fury and Dylan White exchanges on social media?
Yeah, and again, I rate both fighters. I think Tyson Fury has done it all, and so you can't question him, and you can't doubt or give him a hard time because he's done it all. What you can do is I think Dylan White is the only fighter Tyson has not chased down or to shout out in that top era. So insults will be thrown, but I think Tyson, and I'm not saying Tyson loses to Dylan. And what I'm saying is, I think Tyson knows the Dylan fight is a tough fight, because only those two know what happened behind closed doors on more than one occasion. So therefore, only those two know, you know, what the others got. We can only speculate. And Tyson's now in a position where he can take the stick, but he's got to respond. If Dylan is slagging him down, giving him grief, he's got to respond. He cannot not say anything. You've got to bluff your way through it. And that's just how it is. So it's handbags at dawn, isn't it? It means nothing until you get in the ring and the bell goes.
Tyson's adamant when he spoke to Coogan the other day that Deontay Wilder knocks out Dylan White and Anthony Joshua in easy fashion?
It's a matter of opinion. I can see why he thinks that, because Deontay Wilder is long, he's gangly, can bang. Tyson Fury is the only one that's found a style that's effective enough to dethrone and discombobulate Deontay Wilder. Nobody else has done that. Can Dylan or Anthony Joshua box like Tyson Fury? No, but have they got a formula to beat Deontay Wilder? We don't know until they get in the ring.
How do you think they beat Deontay, Dylan and Anthony? If you had to do like a 30-second breakdown on each, on how they beat Deontay.
For Dylan, he has to put him under pressure, get him on the back foot. He's bullish enough, he's strong enough, his arms are long enough to put him on the back foot. It's quite clear. Is you look at Deontay Wilder's not technically the best sweet science boxer out there. You know, he'll box, he'll use his height, and use his reach. We've seen him lose on many occasions behind on points that one punch has got him through. For Anthony Joshua can bang and he can box. And so he's up against somebody that's exactly the same. So then it starts to tactics. Who's technically the best out of Anthony Joshua and Dylan? I'd say Anthony Joshua. Who's the biggest puncher? I'd say with Deontay Wilder, who's the biggest puncher out of Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua? Deontay Wilder is, but Anthony Joshua is technically the best, so he can punch as well as box better. So more falls in the favour of Anthony Joshua. The problem is now that element of doubt has been thrown in, because we've seen Anthony Joshua being get turned over. So who got turned over the worst? Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder? Look at the fashion of the turnover. Look at the opponent that turned him over. So there's a cloud above the both of them to now start doubting your surety, how sure you were this guy was going to win or lose. So again, they're all intriguing fights, and I think this is again gamesmanship from Tyson Fury to say that. Of course he's not going to big Wilder up, White up or Joshua up. Why would he?
Johnny, of course, Matchroom Sky announced the schedule for August, capped off with Dylan White and Alexander Povetkin. So it's good to see a world-class fight in the Garden. Eddie's what Madison.
You know what? It's just good to get some live boxing back, and it's good that Dylan has said, you know what? I don't care. I'll box. I don't care boxing in front of nobody. He's one of the few world-rated heavyweights out there that can actually do that, and he doesn't care about doing that. And I fear that. No, I don't fear that. I think that for Dylan, he's one of the few fighters where money's not his god. He just wants to fight, and that I actually like that about him. I'm not slagging the others off for making as much as they possibly can, but with him, it just seems that money is not his god, and so therefore he's happy to fight in a garden with nobody there. You know, that's where he feels most comfortable.
Of course, people are saying, oh, he's 40 years old now, Alexander Povetkin. But in your opinion, how much of a dangerous fight is this still?
It's a dangerous fight, but I don't think Povetkin is as dangerous as he was, quite clearly. I think he's still got something left in the tank for Dylan not to take him lightly, because if he does, he gets turned over. I'd expect Dylan's in the right position, right age, right stage in his career. So I'd expect Dylan to do a job on him. But Povetkin, you can't write him off because he's got the experience of knowing what he has to do.
It's only a month to go now to the first show. What have they told you, Sky, about how this is going to work with yourself, Matthew, and nothing?
Absolutely no idea. There's still a lot of logistics to deal with this. So we've just got to play it by ear. We're as much in the dark as you are in regards to how this works. But I know safety's a must. And Sky have made sure they've got to take care of their staff. And I don't just mean the guys in front of the screen. I mean the guys on camera. I mean, the guy's, you know, doing everything else. So we have absolutely no idea, and that is still not a done deal in regards to how that works out. But I'm as in the dark as you are.
All right then, Mr. Nelson. Good catching up this. What is it today? I don't even know what the day is. Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon.
30th, Tuesday afternoon, blending in. What's the weather like down there where you are?
London is quite nice.
All right. So I'm just making sure we get this in before you cut off.
Go on.
We said it before, and you cut it off just in case. So I'm going to nominate you tomorrow.
Yeah.
For 25 press-ups a day for 30 days. And in this nomination, you've got to make sure you film it, make sure you put it on here, and it's for you to nominate somebody, anybody. I think I nominated Adam Smith and he didn't do it. I did Adam Smith, and I did Kirsty Gallagher, Neil McAndrews. I did quite a few of them. I did a young kid down in Australia, Rudy May over in Germany. This is a worldwide thing. And this is just to raise awareness for male depression. And I just, so I'm nominating you, and I want you just to, for people to say, why is he doing that? And then again, it's raising awareness. So I'm doing it tomorrow, man. So I'm showing you out. UMAR, IFL UMAR. So get ready, dude. Get those guns down. Look, it works. I'm on day 18. Bam! Bam!
All right, Johnny Nelson. Peace out, and I look forward to this challenge.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Okay.